Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Brakatao, Brakatao Shai, Brakatao Shai, Brakatao Shai, the water, Abba, Kadash. I'd like to give the honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone that teach us this truth, which we know is 100% true. Do a lesson this morning. It's going to be, the escalation of war, or the war report, what's going around over there in the so-called Middle East, as we know it as being Eastern Asia. Like I said, all this lines up with end time prophecy. The Medes and the Iranians. The Medes is being Russia, and what's the Medes and the Iranians. It's another term that goes back to, but all that's popping off over there, and it's going to be end time prophecy, man. And we're in that time where the Lord is going to. It seems like things just going to continue to escalate. Now, DJ Trump, since he's been in power, he's been able to go and attack these countries, and start a war or start a invasion or whatever it is, and then he's able to call it off at his own BS. You can say, okay, that's enough. We didn't bomb you enough. We didn't hit you up enough, so we're going to time out. Well, it's got to the point now where Iran said, hell with that. You started this. You're not going to control when we're going to stop this. We already know from last time, from your last appearance being over here, what they call a 12-day war. You bombed the shit out of us, and then you call time out. Let's talk it over. And then come the turn where we're at now, when we supposed to be talking it over, you bombed us again. In the middle of talks and negotiations. So Iran's like, fuck it, we're going all in. And the Lord has set it up so beautiful, because over there where all this is happening and going down at, we know oil is one of the main driving forces of Esau Edom. Oil is like one of his main his idols, man. There's a saying that for Esau Edom, though, his God is guns, oil, and drugs. We already know he's blessed with the sword, man. And his oil, is part of his power, man. Because a lot of these other nations, they're surviving off of oil. They need oil in order to for their industries and for their to continue to go. And it's a lot of majority of your oil, the way the Lord set it up, is coming out of that region, and so it supplies a major part of the world. So when that little small point called the Strait of Hormuz gets shut down, it has a ripple effect. Even though it's, I think they say like a quarter of the oil that goes out to the world, it has a ripple effect throughout the whole world. And Iran understands that, so they're using that as a major obstacle against Esau Edom. So they're using that by able to turn these other nations on Esau Edom. Because nowadays, Iran said, if you hadn't fucked with us, everything would have been okay. So all these other nations are saying, why did you go in there and fuck with those people? They had their own sustaining government. They were doing their own thing. But we all know that it all goes down to them small hatters over there instigating the situation. We supposed to be their allies and back them up, and now we're in a situation that we're in now. A lot of people say it has a lot to do with the E-files. Well, all this is just adding up more to the end times prophecy. I was watching this one broadcaster, I guess the ex-military guy, and he was saying now they're ready to take in the Marines, which the whole time they telling people this thing is over with. Babylon Grace telling the people that this thing is over with. We have everything under control. And was his name Hedgeworth? He made a statement yesterday. He was saying that they were going to escort the ships through there. But the only thing that's stopping it is Iran shooting at the ships. So how in the hell does that make sense? Some of the straits are open, but it's Iran that's stopping it with shooting at the ships. So the strait is not open. The one thing we learned about this administration, they're never truthful in a lot of what they say and do. Which we know Esau Edom, man, he's a great manipulator. He's a great liar. He's always has a way of putting words out there with no meaning behind it. You know, it's almost like a pep rally right now with this administration, man. It's like a high school pep rally. You know, they bring this influencer. I think his name Jake Paul. You know, he's supposed to be a YouTube boxer. Trump brings him up on stage talking about putting him in some type of running political office. You can't make this shit up, man. You just can't make this shit up. It's just crazy how this thing is unfolding, and it goes to show that the Lord has took the wisdom out of teaming, man. You know, the plays and the power moves that they're doing, man, are so basic, and you know, even a blind man can see what the fuck that they're doing. And really, at the end of the day, it's all leading towards the MOTB because all this having a ripple effect over the whole economy. Eventually, it's going to shut down the economy, but at the same time, it's going to piss off these other nations, man, which are going to turn on Babylon the Great. And by them shutting down the economy, man, therefore they're going to bring in draconian laws. And it's a couple of options that this thing can go, you know. Now they're talking about if this thing's going to escalate. You talk about bringing in troops. Then you're talking about having to have a draft. And this is one guy they call him the Asian Nostradamus, but really we know. And I really think he watched the GMS. He watched the prophets, man, and he understands. He's kind of understanding how this thing is kind of lining up from watching the prophets. And he was going into how once there's going to be a MOTB, they're going to bring in the mark. They say either China's going to do it, which we know they're already parts of doing it, but Babylon the Great, where they're going to do it by insurrection. And you know, everybody in Babylon the Great has guns, they have weaponry. And by instituting the draft, you know, people are not with this war. So there's going to be chaos, man. People are going to rebel in the streets. Yeah, one way they're going to try to uh, bring back that rebellion or control that rebellion is by bringing in the draconian laws. You know, they're going to bring in troops and put troops in certain places, which they already got set up now. They use that under the guise of getting out, you know, grabbing the so-called illegals. So once this thing goes down, you know, they're going to implement harsh rules, harsh laws, and they're going to bring in that CHIP. While all that's going down, everything's going to fall into place, man. You know, and we see in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, you know, right before our eyes. Let me go there real quick. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. We almost there, man. We almost going home. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And that's what's going to eventually going to go down to, because it's a system, it's a form of control. You know, the oligarchs, the banking families. You know, it's not about money with them. It's right now. It's never really about money because they have all the money in the world that they could ever have. It's all about control, man, and putting you in perpetual slavery. And once you take on that mark, man, you're going to be pretty much like a mindless puppet. And that's why the Lord has warned us in these times, man, to be very well aware of this thing, you know. And these other Israelite groups, for some reason, they're not teaching the MOTB in the time that we're going into. They teaching everything else but that. They're not even teaching the true name of the Lord, man, even though they have access to the name of the Lord. So it lets you to believe that somehow maybe they've been compromised, man. And so, you know, things are picking up. You know, when they say peace, peace, believe it or not, because we know it's war. Let me pull that up real quick. First Thessalonians 5 3. And had a dream last night. I often have these dreams, different dreams. But one of them last night, I was walking like a boardwalk on the edge of the water, and off to the left was these entertainers, putting on different shows and performances. Everybody was paying attention to the entertainers. One was like Rihanna. She had this new video coming out, a new song, and she was performing. And I was still walking down this boardwalk, not paying them any attention. And at the end was Jay-Z. He was one of them that was performing. And I was walking, and once I cleared them, everybody was looking. Why is he not paying attention to this to this entertainment that's going on? And once I cleared that, I saw my people. They were chilling in like a very comfortable, safe area. And I see my people was like people that I knew that I've been praying over. And then I was going up some stairs to a place, like a safe place. But I just remember the dream. It was like not being distracted, not focusing on those things that was going on in the world, and going to a safe place. So that's what I got from that dream. It wasn't a long dream. It was just that short dream right there. But that's the times that we in, man. They're gonna throw a lot of distractions. A lot of things are gonna continue to go on. Things are gonna escalate, and all this is mainly for you, Jakes, man. You so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans to get you off your square. So First Thessalonians chapter 1, we start off with verse 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh as a thief in the night. So we don't know the time when the Lord is going to come, but we know we're almost there. Just like we know the change of season, we know the time of the Lord is almost here. And by the way, we agree going to Passover, the true beginning of the year, that time. So we have to start preparing ourselves. That's one of our major holidays that we look forward to. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. So right now, they saying everything's under control. We have this. Anytime the government says everything under control, we have everything under control, that means beware. That means shit is not under control. And like I say, these things are escalating, whether they by design or whether they got their ass in the bind and they can't get out, Verse 4, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. So that's kind of lines up with the dream I was saying, not being distracted, not getting caught up in the things of the world, but focusing on these end time prophecies, keeping your eye focused on Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh. Ye are all children of the light and the children of the day. And we are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as the others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. And that's why, we look towards the light, man. We stay focused on what is. I remember that in the dream saying something about that. We look forward to the light, we keep our eyes on the light, not focusing on the things of the dark. And these entertainers, man, we know they wicked as hell anyhow. So we know what they're about. They're there to distract you. That's their only purpose. That's why they make the money they do, because they get paid to be a great distraction for these oligarchs, man, that are at the top. But that's pretty much it, man. When I kind of hit those points, man, shit is gonna continue to go. It's like a fire that they set, and it's getting out of control. It's continue to grow. And let me hit a precept on that real quick. Hey, Lindsay, why don't you just admit that I am come, Luke chapter 12, verse 49. I come to send fire on earth, and what will, if it be already kindled? So the Lord has already set the kindling, man. All it needed was that one spark to set this whole thing up in the gulf in flames, man. So we in that time, man, beautiful time. So with that being said, man, Lord will, let's edifying with that. Say shalom.